This is your Sky Captain speaking. We're here for a scenic tour of Rome in Microsoft Flight Simulator on Xbox Series X. Be sure to leave a like for the flight so that more people can check it out, and subscribing is great as well. And as always, a comment is fantastic if you have any details about the region you'd like to share, or if maybe we fly over your house, because that's always a really cool thing for people to see as we go about exploring these different places around the world. We've done all kinds of different tours: London, New York, Paris, so you can see all kinds of ones on the channel if you'd like to see a variety of different, kind of big locations around the world. So this is Urbi. This is like the airport region that we're just starting from, and you'll notice the river that wraps its way throughout the city of Rome is called the River Tiber. Kind of a very sort of windy type, almost thin river. I imagine when you're actually there, it's not that thin, but just in comparison to some of the rivers we've flown over, it is a little bit thinner. So we're going to be coming along here, and you should actually see that this is sort of the Olympic Village area will be popping up here, and you can see a lot of the stuff that was used for that. So you're going to see a lot of like stadiums. You're going to see a lot of like swimming pools and the like in the area. Just seeing in general, stadiums are very densely done within Flight Sim, very well kind of described and detailed. I think they look fantastic. But as you can see, you see a lot of these pools, a lot of these competitive track areas, just so that you are aware as we go along the river here and we make our way up to where we're already going to be coming up to the Vatican City right over there to the right. I'm actually surprised how quick you get to this particular region of the location. So over that way to the right, over there would be Bologna, and Prati would be to the left here. And then you're going to go to the Vatican City. There should also be a very large Castel Sant Angelo, sort of to the right there, and you see like a big square to the left. That's kind of a nice little spot. Like I said, there's a lot kind of going on in this very, very small area, but we're gonna fly over the Vatican. That's where I was talking about, the Castel Saint Angelo. But to the left there, we should actually see the Pantheon as well. As you can tell, there's a lot of spots, but we need to highlight obviously Vatican City, which is going to be a very kind of important spot of Rome. I think, a very holy spot that a lot of people are aware of. And you can just see this massive stretch of road that leads into this, very central, large place where speeches and that are given. You can see some of the detail within, like, the background here and the fortified spots. It's quite well detailed, very, very well done in that regard, capturing the area. And we're just going to wrap back around and continue to go down the river in order to show off more areas. And I do kind of want to show off the Pantheon a bit better. I just didn't want to miss the Vatican City and try to showcase it in great detail, as I imagine that's something that many are wanting to see as part of this particular tour. So we should have the Pantheon should be kind of in this area. You should be able to see it with some of the detail there. Again, it's so dense, like with all the different housing, that it's a little bit harder to see stuff pop up. But I hope you kind of got an idea of that. And then over down this way, we should see some other structures, such as the Colosseum, and down there should be Fort Romero, I believe, Fort Romano. And there's the Colosseum. You can see it in all its real beauty and detail. Very, very cool spot. Yeah, it looks crazy. It's probably not quite what it used to be, but the fact that they've kept it going all these years later is kind of a miraculous feat, quite honestly, because I imagine at some point it would probably fall apart, but it's pretty cool that you can still sort of witness that. And you should see that there are some tracks and stuff here at terminal area, but there should also be the Basila Papa de Santa Maria Maggiore. I'm not great at some of the names, obviously, here in Italy and stuff, but I hope I kind of gave you an idea of the naming of that place right there to the left. A lot of very important stuff in this one vicinity, so I'm trying my best to kind of be like, hey, here's this, here's that, and then over for context, again, the Vatican's that way. So you can just see that everything here is in a very tight parameter. It's all in one kind of heavy spot. But we're going to continue going downwards and talking about some of the other areas as well. And there's so many different like regional spots too that make up, Rome and that. So I'm trying my best to cover it. Tons of cool bridges along River Tiber, and I think we should be on the left coming up here, eventually seeing the Centrale Monte Martini. Should be on the left-hand side. And on the right, there should actually be like a pretty large hospital type area, kind of where there's the bend, an intense bend. So you should see that on the right there should be the hospital area. Zandia Ospedaleria, San Camillo Forlani hospital area. So kind of a cool spot to be showing off. Let's continue along here. So like I said, lots and lots of stuff going on. You're going to see a number of, kind of churches in different regions and different grass places. Honestly, I think we've kind of hit most of the very popular spots right off the bat, if that makes sense. A lot of the core key spots of this Italian city, which is kind of wild, but we're going to continue going along the river a bit and talking about some of the spots. We're going to actually move more towards the left here, so you should see some of the details in the buildings, and I think we'll also go towards the water a bit as well. So we're going to kind of hook out to the left here and then rope back around so that we can go towards the beach area, because there are a couple of neat spots. What's also neat is the city looks to have a bit of a ring road. So if you're not sure what a ring road is, it's basically something that goes around the city so that you can easily, drive through it in order to, or drive around it in order to get to another part of it, and then you can re-access the city or leave outwards that way. It's kind of a neat concept. We have one in our city, which is kind of cool to have available. There should be like a shopping center coming up too. So that's what I'm saying, is like some of the less intensive spots are sort of in the surrounding area, but obviously, people live in these spots and they do their day-to-day. There's Champino, that's a neighboring spot there. I think that's actually like an airport spot. Yeah, that's an airport over there. You can easily tell in Flight Sim where the airports are, because they have that sort of like marker spot on them, if that makes sense, and it just kind of gives you an indication of where you're headed. And we are going towards the coast area. So over here, the big green spaces should be the Roma 9 area. So that's what you should be seeing in some of these green spots. And then we're going to kind of move towards the coastal area in order to take a look at Ostia and Isola Sakara. And a natural kind of park type area, and there's some cool spots as well over in that region. But just getting a look at like the density, there is a lot going on here. And then, big mountain ranges off to the distance. It just is a very neat architectural place, just in like the designs and all of the really ancient buildings that are kind of surrounded by all of the modern architecture and designs that are going on here. But we're making our way following the river. Again, this should be the river Tiber that you're kind of seeing there. Really the central river that connects all the way through Rome, as I mentioned earlier. So it really takes you where you need to go in regards to the destination. So if you're trying to find some of the key spots flying around in this region, you just kind of follow that river, and it will take you to the different places you need to go, which is kind of cool. And we should be continuing our spot. Moving along here, I don't really see there's any name for the green space, or not. Well, it's not green. It's like a farm type area. But we should have Leonardo Park should be coming up a bit down the river here as we get towards the end of the water area. So I believe that's over there. Yeah, okay. And we should be also seeing another airport. Airport International Leonardo da Vinci. So that's kind of a cool spot. So that's that one that's marked there as Fluminense, because that's where that area is Fluminense. So I thought we'd split our tour between Rome and Naples, because I didn't initially realized that there wasn't necessarily a ton of spots that I could show specifically of just Rome, so I thought we would share them a bit with the neighboring city, Naples, because Rome would be up that way, and now this is going to be Naples right here, which is honestly another very iconic city, if you're not familiar with it. So we're going to be going along here and talking about it on our journey. So there is a pool of water there. That is the Lago di Averno, that pool of water. And then we've got the Pozzoli area. So that's this region is called that. And then we're going to be kind of continuing along and then going through the beach area and then talking about some of the, the hot spots along the way. Again, another, big Italian city, obviously. Naples, I think, is a pretty iconic spot along the way. So let's continue along here. Oh, first up we got a bit of an aged Colosseum of sorts. Well, no, obviously not the Colosseum because we flew by that a bit earlier. But we're mostly trying to make our way to the main city. There's the islet of Nsidia. Hopefully I said that kind of right. We actually... Nsidia, yeah. We actually flew by this area, I think, on our live stream tour. We were kind of showing this off here. Kind of presenting it because I thought it was a pretty neat spot along the way of our tours that we were doing. So there's that. And then Coroglio is going to be that large kind of area that doesn't really look like there's buildings and stuff around in that spot. And then I think we should see the Monte Spina over to the left. That's like a bit of a little hilled mountain range area. So we're going to just do a quick cut here. Like that's actually like kind of a cool little island chain, so maybe we'll show off just a, well, it's not an island chain, but you get what I mean. It's just got some neat like buildings designed onto it and some dock areas. It's kind of a cool looking spot, so I thought this would be one to show off as well. And then let's wrap around, seeing very, very steep cliffs over here. And then on the top of the cliffs, it's just kind of funny, there's like a bit of a field area. But it's really cool seeing, sort of the height here. It really gives you a sense of like the scope of this spot. And then there's just like this track at the top. It's like that must be just a crazy spot to do like a track meet or something. It would just be absolutely insane. And then there's not actually like really a name for the green spots here. I don't really have a good name for it. It's like a university type area, it sounds like, for sports and stuff. And I believe there is a zoo over in the green spot that's just up ahead. And a McDonald's at some point too. Wow. Some of the spots that show up on these maps when I look at them, unbelievable. Well, you should see, there's the Maradona Stadium. There's also like an amphitheater there to the left, so that's kind of a cool little spot. Again, some really, really neat little locations here that I kind of want to highlight as we're flying over them. Just really gorgeous, the stadiums in Flight Sim. They look really great. But you should see coming up there that there's a lot of big landmarks that we're going to be kind of working towards, and this is just sort of that initial build-up, if that makes sense. So they're going to see Chiaia to the right up there, and it's a bit of a villa communal area. And Vermero is kind of in the middle here. Vermero, which is like a region area. Cool. So the Palonetto and Santa Lucio is like that curve out into the water there. So we're going to kind of be showing that off. We have a lot of sort of neat structures that are going to be highlighted. I'm almost debating on how I want to tackle this because we've got quite a few cool looking scenes around here, if you know what I mean. So there's the Basilia, Castel di Trying to show these off to the best of my extent, or the best of my skills here. So you can kind of see them. It's neat that there's like a little dock area, castle-like spot basically on the water. So yeah, this is structure with a big open area in front of it, the Royal Palace of Naples, and Castel Nuovo. Lots of cruise ships going along here, you gotta stop by and take a look at it. And then we obviously want to show off this fort, Castel St. Alamo. really, really neat spots, and seeing it all hilled here, it's really, really quite cool. Very, very beautiful detailing of the palace and the design of the outside. Looks fantastic. And in case if you didn't know we were in Naples, there's a big sign that says Naples, am I right? So let's continue going here. The Cathedral of the Assumption of Mary. Wow. Some of the names just wild. And we've got a large airport over there that we could have went to, but kind of making our way up there towards the mountain Vesuvio. I guess maybe you would kind of know why we were going to Naples, and that big mountain up there is kind of a big part of the why that we're headed into this region area. But we do have some spots to talk about along the way. Big kind of rail area there. It's the metro. And we've got the airport as well over to the left. International Napoli Airport. Napoli. I think there's like a national museum to the right along the water too. That's obviously like a shipping yard though. Busy shipping yard. Should be coming out. There should be a museum spot. And over there, Barra area. A couple different spots, but we're mostly making our way up to the big mountain region to kind of cap this off. Portici. So we're in Marianella is the kind of region area that we're at. I think the museum should be one of these spots. Down below, along this way. Right on the water, kind of crazy. Just crazy, but we are making our way up there to this iconic mountain. And then past Portici, we have got Ercolano, yeah, right there. And past that one will be Torre del Greco. Kind of neat spots. And Pompeii would actually be, well, an area named Pompeii would be down that way a bit more. And you get a curve that would kind of like peek out into Sorrento and Caprian Island. But we're not necessarily going down that way. We are making our way to, well, ascend up to the big mountainous area. And we're gonna make it, like, just imagine how massive this mountain spot is. Like, you know, you just see all of these, like, city buildings and stuff, but then there's just, like, this huge elevation of a mountain. Actually just amazing. And that will conclude our journey once we reach the top here. Again, tried my best with the region. It can be, you know, quite difficult to get everything right because there's so much, and, you know, kind of expanding it from just a Rome spot to showing off Naples as well. And obviously Mount Vesuvius here to conclude it all. You know, liking the video is great, and subscribing is awesome as well. And we do have, of course, more flight sim tours that you might find interesting up on the channel as we continue to visit more spots around the world and hopefully do a decent job of presenting them. But we're just going to quiet down here, just, you know, until we get towards the crest of Vesuvius. And here we go. This is Mount Vesuvius. We need to get a little bit more elevation on the plane going on here, because this is very, very large. Very, very large indeed. I'm sure it's not perfectly shapely within Flight Sim, but, you know, it's kind of cool being right here in the crater of the area. Just massive, and yeah, it doesn't seem like it's perfectly detailed, but It's kind of a cool spot to visit because you can just kind of get a sense of how massive this is compared to everywhere else around it. Just a just a crazy large scale place and beautiful surrounding area that just seems to go on for miles.